All right, let's do this. But hey, Kangas, what are you doing, man?
Oh, I'm just getting a pump on for when I have to interview Hanser after the games today. I'm not gonna lose to him again.
No. TSM's on Wednesday, man. We're doing Cloud9 Academy versus ZOOS right now.
Wait, ZOOS beat at TSM Academy?
Yeah, we're casting the quarterfinals. Round one is next series. Like, let's do this.
What are you trying to tell me, Coke? Are you telling me that we've been lied to and that the field is actually much closer than we were led to believe, and that we should listen to the players and coaches who say that there's not that big of a difference between academy and amateur talent?
No, I'm not lying to you. I'm just saying you should have read the script, but I guess we're going to be rolling with it. Let's go.
All right. Well, thanks for the update, Coco. Welcome to the show, everybody, as we're getting ready for Proving Grounds Week 2. We got the quarterfinals between Cloud9 Academy up against ZOOS Gaming, a.k.a. Toilet Paper Cats, if you've been following them on social media. And then later today, we have the losers bracket, Golden Guardians Academy taking on Team Liquid Academy. I'm a little more out of breath from those bicep curls than I was planning. I started doing those way earlier than I needed to. I'm your play-by-play caster for the day, Kangas, and I'm joined by the one and only hard carry color caster, Coco the Dragon. Coco, thanks for joining me today. Let's do some justice for these players and these teams that are in the academy and amateur scene. There's a lot of eyes on the scene right now. A lot of new viewers coming in that might not know everything about these players and these teams. So we'll get to that later today, but first let's catch everybody up. In case they haven't been watching all of what happened last week, I know that a lot of new eyes will probably be coming in this week, so catch me up to speed, catch everybody up to speed, Coco. What did last week look like, and what's the overall format of the tournament been looking like?
Yeah, well, let's give you a little bit of a breath of fresh air while you're doing your warm-ups and do that recap of week one. And it was a banger of a week one to start us off. There are a lot of those amateur upsets that had happened, and especially one that to the new viewers may have came off as a surprise, which was ZOOS taking a 2-1 victory over TSM Academy. But of course, we weren't able to sort of get everyone through the ringer. 100 Thieves and CLG were able to have a pretty fun 3-game series as well, and really showed that a lot of these academy teams are really closely packed together when it comes to skill level and understanding one another, as they did have a long break coming into the Proving Ground circuit. And then of course Dig Academy had a really great wake-up call against Wildcard Gaming, and another team that actually had a good wake-up call as well was Team Liquid Academy when they faced off against Barrage with a massive upset of not even picking up a single game, and Barrage just sweeping them 2-0.
2-0 against Team Liquid Academy, who a lot of people in the scene, a lot of color casters, analysts, even some coaches and players were saying Team Liquid Academy might be the strongest team in this tournament. I know Cloud9 Academy are that seeded one team from taking first place in the Academy split that was very short, very abbreviated, not like the typical splits that we saw in the past. But yeah, they did lose to Barrage, who, as I believe Cubby, the color caster, said, criminally underrated. If you haven't checked out his Reddit thread of the preview for today, you can also read that while the show is going on right now, if you can find that on there. But we got to talk about the games that are happening today, Coco. Yet again, we have the first game up, Cloud9 Academy taking on ZOOS Gaming. Now, this is going to be an interesting match because a lot of people were saying TSM Academy versus ZOOS Gaming, favoring TSM Academy in that, but hey, ZOOS did take that first win. But before we get into that, again, catching up on the winners bracket right now, I'll run through this one real quick. Today we got Cloud9 versus ZOOS, and then you'll be able to catch the rest of the action throughout the week as Evil Geniuses take on 100 Thieves Academy. Dignitas will take on Evil Geniuses Prodigies, their amateur program, and then also No Org taking on Barrage. That No Org Barrage one's going to be really exciting because that's the big one where it's like two amateur teams clashing.
Yeah, it's two apex predators of the amateur scene finally coming into each other's sort of warpath in the quarterfinals here for Proving Grounds. But of course, we don't have everyone up here in the upper bracket. We do have the losers rounds that we will have to address, which are sort of the later halves of every single day going through this week. We have those quarterfinals matches that we'll be introducing, and then wrapping up those days with Dig Mirage versus TSM Academy, FlyQuest and CLG facing off against one another on April 7th. Wildcard and Immortals going to be on the 9th. But today we have Golden Guardians Academy versus Team Liquid. And this is something where, as you mentioned, Team Liquid coming in as the heavy favorites for this for the Proving Ground circuit. And Golden Guardians Academy, who had a very rough start in not only the Academy Spring round robin that they had, but also through Northern Arena, which they had just recently played in the Arena of Legends tournament. So it's this awkward transition for themselves. But of course, they will have to prove themselves and see if they've made any progress later in the day, because right now it is quarterfinals C9 Academy versus ZOOS Gaming.
The big one of the day. I'm sure a lot of people are tuning in specifically for all the memes that are going around about toilet paper cats right now. I've seen it all over Twitter. It was on Hotline League. It was on all kinds of talk shows.
Yep.
So let's talk about them. Let's talk about these two teams, Coco. When I look at these matchups, this is the #1 seeded Academy team coming into a team that did qualify very early on in the Tier 1 tournament. So one of the higher seed amateur teams, but still not a team that a lot of people expected to be able to really take punches against these top Academy teams. So talk to me about ZOOS Gaming stylistically. What should we expect from them?
Yeah, I feel a little bad for ZOOS Gaming when people put them in this bad light of saying they're not like the best when they compare themselves to Noorg or Barrage, but they're the Kingslayers of the amateur scene. They're the team that has actually taken series against those upper titans in the amateur circuit, and they had just also upset TSM Academy just last week. So for them, coming in, it's no longer a meme anymore. You have to respect every single player on this roster, and for me, yes, like Alarim is there in that top lane. He's really good at creating an isolationist situation for his team to really try and create a good team fighting scenario later down the line in their series. But you've got also RBM, who's been popping off in the jungle. You've got Darkwings, who's been able to go toe-to-toe with a lot of these mid laners. And with that jungle mid synergy, they've been able to really go blow for blow and trade punches when it comes to macro strategies, when it comes to contesting objectives and the first Rift Heralds, and when turret plates start to fall and the map opens up a little bit more. I'm going to be keeping an eye on those two players once we get to those stages.
I like how you're highlighting two newer names. Some people might recognize RBM, but Darkwing's newer player. It used to just be ZOOS were Alarim and friends, but we're starting to get to know some of these other players on the roster. Let's now talk about Cloud9 Academy. On this side of the map, again, these guys look really good. They look in form. They had a very quick 2-0 against Dignitas Mirage in their first round of the tournament, although it wasn't entirely clean. There were times that Dignitas Mirage looked like they actually were going to take that, but I feel like off of Darshan's counter picks, Cloud9 Academy just were too strong in their late game scaling.
Yeah, it was a pretty heavily favored series there against Dignitas Mirage for Cloud9 Academy to take that one off. But even though Darshan had those spicy picks that appeased us, I don't think we're going to be seeing it this time around, as we have headed into draft. And one of the big answers that we have to ask ourselves is the different styles that these teams like to play. Are they going to be able to get that in the composition in game one, or are we going to be seeing a little bit more of a challenge where they really trade for those top meta picks in this patch?
This is what we've seen so far about these teams, and specifically I had an opportunity to talk with the coaches ahead of the games today, and they kind of echo this. Cloud9 Academy like to scale. Westrice was saying that they are a team-fighting team. They like to get to the late stages of the game where they have their items, they have their power spikes, and then fight, while drafting lanes that don't just automatically lose, usually a jungler that can help them get through those early portions of the game. But ZOOS Gaming, if you talk to Coach Pukar, he says that they're a team-fighting team also, so we got to watch for what happens in this draft here, Coco, because I'm not expecting a lot of split pushing style from either of these guys.
No, and you can already see those two composition styles complemented. You have a lot of that late game scaling, sort of macro play being banned out from ZOOS Gaming, and the team fighting titans of Tristana and Hecarim are already taken away from ZOOS. So with that being said, you've got that hyper scaling and also very favorable team fighting ADC that was contested in that Jinx. You still have the Kai'Sa available. You could possibly pull out the Varus, which I feel like is very underrated right now and is very versatile in what ZOOS wants. And there you go. Immediately picked up on R1. Now we just need a jungler or possibly a support to pair with it.
Oh, if they lock in the Yuumi, that's a lot of poke.
That's way too early.
Yeah, that would be a little early to lock in something like that. But the Varus has been rising more in prominence lately. We are on patch 11.6. It's been a while since we've seen this guy, though, in the meta. I think summer, it was the last time we saw him play in the Academy, at least.
We saw Shiro play it just last week, and he went AP Varus, so it was some pretty awesome stuff. And there you go with the support Thresh being picked up for Rhino, a very good lane-dominant bottom side already for ZOOS Gaming. It's just a question of what Cloud9 Academy wants to pair with this Jinx, right? Because yes, they want to be more team fighting. Yes, they want to scale to that hyper late game situation, but they need some stability here right now. Tom Kench is available, but Rel is also on the board, and really going blow for blow here is the best argument for C9 Academy. But with all of that planned out, you still have very blind options to pick on the top side of the map, and you still have yet to get a very favorable jungler for either RBM or Surenfire.
Yeah, we do not see a lot of early focus on junglers at all in the first 2 picks from either of these teams. I'm assuming Cloud9 Academy will lock one in here. Okay, right as I say it, no, they say we're going full-on team fight mode. The combo of Orianna plus Rel is very strong if you can get them paired up in the mid to late game and actually go for those fights. But could take a little bit to come online. I mean, this does play into what Westrice was saying, you know, getting some team fighting compositions, but still having abilities to make plays early. Yes. That's what I see when I look at the Rel. It's like you can team fight late game, but you can still at least roam and make things happen early too.
Yeah, but you have a better level 1 as well, so you can get some lane dominance to make sure that your jungler has some priority in the later stages of the early game. But the Orianna pick into the Victor counter for both for this first game, it's something that it shows these teams are very valuable, like they're very much valuing the jungle matchups, and they want to make sure that they have the counter pick, or at least the best option when it comes to this game for either Surenfire or RBM to get that priority, to get a lot of that pressure, to look around these neutral objectives and look for either Alarim or Darshan to have that priority on the side lane. So with that being said, you have to start banning out a lot of those options that are still available. Olaf can be taken off the board. I'm looking at Skarner, maybe will be a really nice option for C9 Academy to pick up here. The other one I'd have to say would be Volibear for a flex pick, and into those ends, I'm curious to see how these two teams will answer it, as you know, you just get the comfort pick of the Urgot taken away from Alarim.
The only other junglers that I can really think about, okay, Kindred, I guess, against Surenfire. He does play the Kindred a lot. He also plays, I mean, Surenfire's pool is quite large. He does play things like Graves, Echo, and Nocturne so far throughout this year as well. So it's kind of tough to pinch Surenfire's pool in particular. I don't know how they'll pair some of those champions with this composition. But ZOOS Gaming focusing on some of those. Cloud9 Academy not worried about the jungle pool at all. They want to take away Lulu.
Yeah, Lulu is more of a counter pick to what Darshan would be picking up in the top side of the map. It sounds like the Lulu ban gives me this very odd messaging of saying C9 Academy might be trying to meme here in game 1 and go for something a little bit spicier on this top side of the map. And the Lulu is something that counteracts that plan that's currently sort of being created in the minds of Westrice.
Well, Darshan played Tryndamere and Vayne last week. Both of them were counter picks.
And
they were not blind picked.
Well, they just insta-locked Gangplank. So the Lulu point is sort of moot now, though it does mean they have to blind pick their jungler, and they go with the Mundo. Okay. Not something that's been popping off recently, but had a very strong performance in the beginning of Season 11 when tank junglers just went absolutely crazy, how Sunfire was just busted. So I'm interested to see how the new Mundo jungle pick will be going into 11.6 with some of the tank item changes. Might be seeing a potential very, very fast buff boy who did not skip leg day with a turbo chem tank.
Also just a big meatball tank to stand in front of that Jinx, stand in front of that Orianna during these fights. But ZOOS say we got a tanky boy as well, locking in Cho'Gath for Alorm in the top lane. Now, Alorm, he plays a lot of tanks. This guy is oftentimes, for how strong he can carry if he's given that counter matchup, ZOOS Gaming like to put him on tank duty. He's played a lot of Scion, Ornn, Malphite, Shen. Cho'Gath, I haven't seen him play this yet, at least in the last couple weeks of play. Maybe earlier in some of the Tier 1 tournaments he brought it out. But this will be interesting to see how he pilots that pick. Very interesting compositions coming in from both of these teams here. But again, if we go back to what we had said, both teams want a team fight. When I look at both of these teams, I see a lot of team fight capabilities from each. But ZOOS, they also have a lot of pick potential with things like the Thresh and the Skarner.
How many points of engagement do you have on C9 Academy right now, Kangas? I can count on it with literally one finger. Like,
but does Orianna Ball count as like a follow-up? Because then that's
Orianna is more like a punish engagement, right? Like if ZOOS has poor positioning around an objective, or they sort of forget the tracking of copy in those sort of chaotic situations, then Orianna counts. But I'm looking at a stage where if Turbo Chem Tank's offline, and there's a lot of tools to disengage just a sprint engagement out of the side of ZOOS Gaming, like the Barks, you've got Flay, you've got Gravity Field, you've also got like Alarim on the Cho'Gath. So it's something that C9 Academy really has to create a good macro state for them to be confident going into those team fights. But if the laning phase goes as calmly as C9 Academy wants it, it's going to be difficult for ZOOS Gaming to try and match a lot of this scaling that is in Cloud9's pockets.
Loaded up for game 1 of week 2 for Proving Grounds Circuit. Cloud9 Academy going up against ZOOS Gaming, aka Toilet Paper Cats. And unfortunately, we do not see that early game action like we were expecting, but a lot is on the line right now, Coco. Cloud9 Academy, the #1 seeded Academy team coming into this tournament, expected to win out and make a run for that finals. ZOOS Gaming, like you said, the King Slayers. We saw a lot of amateur teams take series against Academy teams last week, and they're the only amateur team playing today. Can they keep that streak going? Darshan going for a deep invade on the top side of the map.
What is he doing?
This is very safe. He's probably going to have to burn Flash at least right here. Yep, there we go. Flash already used. Surnefire has joined in too, but Darkwings... Okay, what? I'm not sure what Cloud9 Academy is hoping for here. They got the Spire, sure, but they do not have an advantage.
Well, they're trying to slow down RBM right now because the pathing of Mundo is going to be a lot slower than that of RBM Skarner. It's just awkward of how it came to play, right? Because Darshan just walked straight into a Cho'Gath.
It is still played.
They've got the poke to just zone him off of the objective. This is where ZOOS Gaming, if they stay around too long, this is just going to go absolutely chaotic.
Alorum is so low on health right now. I think ZOOS
don't have the damage
already lost this. Look at the damage from Copy. Surefire's there too. He's taking damage from Red Buff. RBM's in trouble. Darshan still doesn't have Flash, but they got to give this up. They split up. All of Cloud9 Academy grouped together as 3, and because of that, that's a stolen red buff, just brute forced by Surenfire.
It was so much effort going in for both of these teams to try and keep that red buff. And for Cloud9 Academy, the poke coming in from Surenfire's Mundo and Darshan's Gangplank was able to win them that trade. And ZOOS played too greedily. They tried to go for this objective instead of just making the gentleman's agreement of saying, look, we're going to exchange these red buffs. Let's go ahead and start on the bottom side of the map and make sure that RBM's initial clear isn't slowed down as much, but because of how long they delayed it, it's really giving a massive favor over to Surenfire on this initial clear. And now you've got a question boiling in your heads of how fast will Surenfire's Mundo be able to outlevel and outscale this Skarner when it comes down to those initial power spikes.
Yeah, I thought he was just going to walk in and take RBM's bottom side jungle too. The way that he just walks through mid lane. I think he actually had an opportunity to, but Surenfire also talking with the coach Westrice earlier is the primary shot caller in the early stages of the game. So having such a strong start here, he's going to be able to control a lot of the tempo for Cloud9 Academy. And if they're looking to scale with this composition, what a way to start the game in doing so. And yeah, that put, I mean, everything up in the air because all those points of like, how should the early game play out? Suddenly, this is when you might even look to restart the scrims if it is one.
Yeah, so the only issue right now for C9 is that the next step was to say, okay, can we get a double scuttle? But unfortunately, Darshan is just getting absolutely bullied by Alarum's Cho'Gath here, and that loses you that top scuttle. RBM's able to take it, and if Alarum really starts communicating with RBM and you get some push here from Darkwings, they can look for an invade here onto Surenfire and see if they can look for a first blood. You do have Darshan's TP in the back pocket, but he actually forces it up top side, so now that those lanes are neutraled out, there's no chance for any real collusion happening between these two junglers. As I just mentioned, Darkwings coming in for that cheeky invade. Gets
the push, gets a ward down, and RBM took the Spire. So yeah, that is Surenfire realizing I don't want to contest this. Okay, maybe I do. He doesn't have Smite, RBM does. Teleport coming in actually from Alorum. He backs, and now we're coming in to join the fight. RBM 1-1 against Surenfire. Oh, it was close! But Alorum gets the first blood. ZOOS Gaming bite back.
The exact reasoning on why ZOOS stayed too long for red buff is the same reason why Surenfire died. He's too greedy. He's trying to really step over his bounds. He had no priority whatsoever from his laners to try and assist with competing for that blue buff, and he pays the price immediately. A wonderful play from Alarum as well onto that TP from the Cho'Gath, getting themselves that first kill of the series.
Yeah, and I love the ward plays by Darkwings. He pushed mid, roamed over, and just put a ward down. Yeah. And that's the ward that Alorum TPs into. So it's a good replay here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can hear the comms from ZOOS, right? Like it's that initial play of saying, look, we've got lane priority. Let's push in and challenge Surenfire here. And then immediately when that TP from Darshan comes in and Darkwings has to address his mid lane, he says, you know what? Yep, drop that ward there. If we try and push for it more, if he gets greedy, we have a way out. We have a plan B, and that punishment really comes into fruition. So with all this action on the top side of the map, you got to think of what's next for these teams. And I'm looking down at this Infernal Dragon, something that will really start to ramp up into that early to mid-game power spike for these teams. Like you get to the Kraken Slayer for either Raheen or King, and with an Infernal in your back pocket, you can start winning over the bottom lane too.
And if you're looking at just the champions available right now, I'm favoring ZOOS slightly here with Varus and Thresh and their ability to try and fight around this objective here. Rhino, he doesn't see Surenfire there quite yet. Got to be careful. Isles actually is in the standing form, not the horse form, so a proper form of engage. There you go. He's running forward, trying to get onto Rhino. There's the death sentence, lands in. Play not used in time. The Flame Choppers actually catches both members of Raheen and Rhino. Raheen will get out, uses that summoner heal just to stay healthy.
Now RBM's in the river, just making sure you can hover if any more comes into play, but this might actually be another fight onto this scuttle, but Surefire's level 5.
Darkwings can roam earlier. He is level 6. Copy is as well, so ultimate's on the mid laners, but neither one are coming. Rhino actually being engaged on. Raheen does not want to take that Dark Passage, and unfortunately Rhino just gets caught out in his own river here. RBM has to flash away. That is Dragon priority now to Cloud9 Academy.
Yeah, and C9 Academy can really punish. They have the beefiness of the Dr. Mundo to try and challenge for this dragon, though it may be a little bit too slow for them to really address it at this moment in time. So win some priority, get some vision control on this bottom side of the map, and maybe look for another attempt. But as I can see on that top corner of the screen, it is Surenfire saying, I've got the tank shred, I've got the beefiness, let's take this dragon now and not give ZOOS Gaming a chance.
They just needed to push into that bot wave. King gets that full wave under turret, and now a dragon picked up here. Surenfire does take that. Another death sentence onto King, but no follow-up from the rest of ZOOS Gaming. So, yeah, first objective of the game picked up here by Cloud9 Academy, and this has been a very active early game, Coco, from that level 1 invade to the counter invade to the plays at bot side. And if this is an indication of what the series is going to look like, we're in for a doozy today.
Oh, for sure. And this is something that puts into my mind a lot of concerns for Cloud9 Academy as we just sort of look at the engagement that had happened on the bottom side, forced a flash out of Raheen. Well, you know, no worries on that end as nothing really comes of it, but it might be something that Surenfire will keep in his mind for the next few minutes. But as I was discussing, it's giving me some concerns for Cloud9 because their laning phase, I haven't been impressed by it even through the Academy round robin, and then even last week, it was something that Dig Mig was able to abuse slightly, though it's the macro stages that Surenfire has been able to conduct is where they've really been making these strides. And the fact that ZOOS Gaming is challenging them on every single play, it's really putting some options of saying, all right, Cloud9, you have to be 112% confident to try and go for this aggression, or ZOOS Gaming will have the resources and the manpower to challenge you.
And this is what ZOOS wanted to do earlier on. I mean, they're not the necessarily crazy late game scaling style of team. They like to team fight, but they prefer to keep it a little scrappier and a little bit earlier on, as opposed to Cloud9 Academy, who want it to go slightly later based on their play style so far. And in the later stages of the game, it's usually Isles that's stepping up as their primary shot caller. So on the Rel, champion that can look for those engages, can go for it. That means that ZOOS Gaming want to keep the pedal to the metal and not allow it to get that late into the game. And we see RBM picking up that Rift Herald. They can start to snowball here if they can take down that first turret.
They might be looking to dive Darshan here. He is a level down. He doesn't have Cannon Barrage either, but I guess everyone decides to call it off and look towards the mid lane instead. You got to think of where they want to drop shelling for in the next few minutes. What's the most optimal place to put it? Sure, you may be able to get plates onto Alarum or maybe onto Darkwings, but if you're able to break open one of those turrets instead, it really gives a lot of pressure back into your side of the court, as Surenfire has really been making sure he has a lot of forward percentage this game on the Mundo.
Yeah, constantly invading right now. That's the second buff he's taken away from RBM. They saw the Rift Herald taken, so pretty easy invade right there, but that also might be partly why ZOOS didn't go for that dive topside, because there was a Mundo and a Rel bot. That's also a lot of dive potential from Cloud9, but Surenfire, you realize this isn't your jungle, buddy? You can go clear your own camps, too. Oh, no, wait, no, he doesn't have any. Never mind. Yep.
He put a ward there, so it's his now. It's how it works, right?
As a
jungler, if you put a ward there, it's like your territory.
Dog. Yeah, you just drop a ward down, and now it's your place.
Yep, 100%. You get to name the Gromp, too. But,
here's the engage onto Raheen. He doesn't have the flash available, and the Super Mega Death Rocket is enough from King. A clean combo from Isles and the AD carry.
That was real clean. I thought it was just going to be a trade of summoner spells, and then he was able to take the Thresh Express out. But, you know, one Ashen happens on the other side of the map. ZOOS Gaming is looking to counteract it on the other part. RBM, he's ready to get this kill onto Darshan. He just needs the go button from Alarum.
Alorum's trying to push this wave in, but he can't find it. Wait, Surenfire just says, he just ran past RBM. He says, I don't care about the Skarner. I'm going for the Cho'Gath. Oh, no. Unfortunately. RBM just backed. with the Rift Herald too. Oh, what a play, Surenfire. I love it. Eyes on the prize, baby.
That is the pull the trigger, no brakes on this car ambition that we need to see out of Surenfire in this series. He cannot hesitate, and the hesitation from RBM cost them that topside trade. And now you've got so much pressure here for Darshan to go ahead and hit that reset button, see if he can cash in on a couple more items to really make sure he can keep the wave cleared out. Here you go, nice little jazz elevator music as the junglers just are ships in passing in the night.
So I can't tell if Surenfire saw him. It looked like he had a sweeper up. So, or maybe I don't know. Maybe that was RBM sweeper.
Yeah,
some shenanigans was happening right there. Either way, that was hilarious from our perspective. So, Surenfire with the gank topside, getting Darshan a little further ahead, even though it's Surenfire that picks up that kill. So, we do still see that mythic item completed from Alarum first. I think RBM could look for another gank topside if he really wants to snowball that lane, but also looking at this Varus, thinking if you want to carry through an early game champion, Varus is a great option.
He's also a good engager when you need to find any picks around those objectives with those corrupted tendrils. Though he's a little bit behind right now. He does not have that Kraken Slayer as King has at the moment, which means that this next dragon should just be forfeited from ZOOS game, and they don't have the pressure to try and match anything. And honestly, the best lane that they can really invest in is still on this top side of the map. You haven't dropped Rift Herald yet either, and the fact that you're challenging this, you have TP from everyone here, so it could be a 5v5 fight in a matter of a moment.
Flash engage in onto Surenfire. The Mundo, what are you doing, ZOOS? You cannot burst him fast enough. They do finally take him down, but what does it cost them? RBM's already out of the fight. Raheen and Rhinos are half health. It's a trade of junglers, but Cloud9 Academy still come out on top because they can still take this dragon.
Yep, they've got the health bars to do so, and with that, ZOOS Gaming decides we're okay with just taking a one-for-one trade and giving you this Cloud Dragon. We just need that extra gold, that shutdown that was in the Surenfire's pockets. And now, moving forward, you're going to see if they can get some turret plates off this mid lane. Though, I'm curious to see what the timer was on that Rift Herald, because he's been having it for a while. And with that respawn, he might need to drop it very quickly. And just as I mentioned, he has to drop it in base. Let's see if we know where it goes. Oh, it looks like it's Watto mid lane. Okay.
Looks like it. So, a little more gold plating onto Darkwings if they can walk it in. But immediately, Cloud9 Academy, Isles running mid lane too. I'm assuming that they'll try and make some kind of defensive play and stop that from running in. But let's get another look. So, this engage.
Yeah, it was a great engage from RBM, but they just don't have the damage to really tear through Surenfire just yet. And a couple things missed here and there, a couple skill shots, as we saw from Raheen, just because of how quickly everything was thrown out. And it looked like they weren't all on the same page. But it was that situation, right, where I'm saying you can't challenge this. You're currently outstatsed. And at this moment, you have Herald in your back pocket when that dragon was available. Just drop it mid or drop it bot, get some turret plates, and have a gentleman's agreement. Don't give anything over to Cloud9 Academy to continue to snowball. And with that, you see what happens with the punishment. Sure, you're actually able to get some plates there from Shelly, so that's the best thing for ZOOS Gaming to come out of that trade. And they get a kill on to Raheen as well. They might be able to get a second, but cleanse out from King.
Yeah, King stays alive with that cleanse, so... Yeah, ZOOS Gaming, they can try and make plays bot side, but after losing that 2v2 earlier, King has just ran away with this lead. Now we see a gank top side. RBM already has the ultimate available again. Darshan has the oranges. Has to flash away, actually. Says, no, I'm trying to get away from this as quickly as I can. There we go. Orange does go out, and he is safe. So, a lot used by ZOOS to try and go for that, but they do not find the kill.
Well done holding his oranges in his pockets at the very last moment, right when the timing was perfect for him to disengage properly. Does still use the flash and the cannon barrage to keep the lane neutral so he can continue farming underneath his turret if he needs to. But now you have to set your eyes onto a lane that hasn't had too much action in it.
Copy's just trying to poke out RBM. I think, you're not expecting to get a kill there, but now look at this. Surenfire's on the bottom half of the map, so RBM not safe to go into his own jungle here. Surenfire's going to take another blue buff. Actually, Isles goes with the Hex Flash in onto Darkwings, who is not expecting that kind of play. Flash away now by the Victor. Just barely stays alive here. Has to back under turret, you got to imagine. Does have to teleport, but now, no, RBM getting caught out here. Oh, Super Mega Death Rocket, that was aiming for Darkwings. What's happening with RBM? He's dead. Copy picks up that kill. Raheen now with the backup of Rhino. Alarum actually teleported down. Maybe they can take down Copy. They do.
TP from
Orianna shut down. Darkwings did teleport in, but he still have health bar. He didn't wait for the whole thing to come back. Gravity Field, he tries to catch it. Ooh, the knockup from Alarum stops Isles' jump. That was a good play. This should be a kill onto the support. Who gets it? It's Darkwings. ZOOS Gaming might find more, but no, Surefire's just too tanky. Time King just gets a free turret bot side, but at least ZOOS fight back.
I was about to scold ZOOS Gaming for just staying in that jungle a little too long, but they hit the go button. They say, you know what, we've got the kill pressure here from Raheen and Rhino now. Let's really try and up the ante and punish Surefier for being so forward in our jungle. And they're able to get a couple kills for it as well. Sure, they're not able to get Surefire's Mundo, but they get some key picks onto Copy and onto Isles, and it goes on to some good players as well. Lorem is able to pick up a second kill for himself, as well as Darkwings grabbing his first of the game. Helps him get a little bit to that first item in a little moment's time. I think this recall gets it. Yep, he gets it with the Luden's Echo. And now everyone's a little bit matched up on those mythic items. We still have yet to see Raheen cash in on his. Just as I mentioned, he grabs up that Kraken Slayer.
There we go. Kraken Slayer, that's really going to help them actually take down Surefier. Because so far, they've been struggling to beat up this Mundo.
Now the question is, do you go AP or do you go AD on Raheen's Varus? You have a lot of magic damage on your team already in ZOOS Gaming. You've got the Cho, you've got Skarner, and Darkwings as Victor. So AD is looking pretty appetizing. You need it to shred down this front line, but there's a lot of AP percentage damage in Varus's kit that can help really burst out these health tanks like Mundo. So he still has that option to go with it because he's the only one that's going to be building defense, but Mundo does have some innate magic resistance protection in his kit to really quell any of those options. So I'm going to be curious on how Raheen goes his path and items.
I think you have to go AD with the composition that you've drafted for yourself right now. Even though AP is viable currently, you got to look at what the rest of your team is providing and also look at all the tanks on the enemy team. Surefier and Isles, they can just build full magic resist at that point, and it'll be very, very hard to take them down. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what Raheen decides to do here. But we've reached a slight lull in the game, right? As I say, that Surefier just says, nope, we're not sleeping. We're not lulling. We're running onto Darkwings, throws down that Q, and just charges for Darkwings. Okay, no, he does juke the second one. So he's out. He's safe. RBM, I don't think that you're safe to collapse there. There is a ward, so Cloud9 Academy know that ZOOS Gaming is here. They don't have Darshan with them, but everyone else is grouped up, and they are looking for this dragon. Now RBM, he can't get onto the key carries because Surefier and Isles are just standing in front of him. And if he grabs one of the tanks, the same thing will happen again. Copy will just allow that ball to carry into the backline of ZOOS and press that ult button. So ZOOS Gaming need to find the perfect engage right here.
Yep. Got a lot of tools to find it.
Look at Isles' flank right now. He's up around the buff right now. I don't think anybody from ZOOS has spotted him. This is going to be... Okay, no, there we go. That one does spot him. Now it might be bad because now the rest of ZOOS can collapse onto him. But RBM, are they just giving up the dragon?
Oh, the dragon just reset, so it gives a little bit of time for ZOOS Gaming to try and challenge this, but they found Isles.
Yeah? Do they go for the kill or do they go for the objective? Olorm has the ultimate available. He might just go to try and take the objective himself, but they don't get either. Okay, ZOOS Gaming, unfortunately... lack of decision-making means that they don't get anything for that. Cloud9 Academy successfully played the bamboozle. Isles just distracted RBM for long enough. The Cloud9 Academy getting another objective there. RBM flashes forward, but King just flashes away. Didn't even need to use that cleanse. RBM does get taken back with the Dark Passive, but Isles with the massive engage here into the Gangplank ultimate. Rhino's going to have to flash that. Well, Darkwings actually turns it around. Isles goes down first. Cloud9 Academy, they still have the front line in Surefier. Raheen taking a lot of damage. Barely survives that. Wow, that was close. But somehow ZOOS walk away with a kill.
5 health was on Raheen right there as he was able to escape from the jaws of death. But ZOOS Gaming, Lorem, get away from there, please. Just both the two kids are fighting over a toy, and the parents have to come in and say, calm down. Go to your rooms, take a breath, reset the map, and then we'll address this later on. But that entire fight around the dragon was so much tension being torn apart from ZOOS Gaming, because like you were calling out, there's a damage from ZOOS right now to take out Isles on the catch, but they need all of the members there. But the other part of that equation is that they also have dragon and objective security with Cho'Gath Feast and with Smite. They can burst down these objectives, and that was what was tearing apart this team, was that if they invest too many resources onto Isles and get the kill, they can't challenge this dragon. And because of that hesitation and that indecision, it allows Cloud9 to get out of this play without any losses. But then RBM really putting down and pushing the pedal to the metal and seeing if he could find a catch on to King forces this fight to continue out, to draw out further. And from there, it's ZOOS Gaming's tools to disengage, create a better zone of combat, for their composition to work on. And because C9 Academy doesn't have any huge gap closing tools available for them at the moment, ZOOS Gaming is able to get out of the fight with 1 kill and barely squeak out with that 1-for-0 trade.
That was everything from Darkwings and Raheen thrown at Isles, and it was just enough to kill him. And 5 health on Raheen. Wow, the margin for error there was so slim, but hey, ZOOS come out slightly on top. But now that we have a chance to zoom out after all that action, after all those plays, we see that Cloud9 Academy still have a big lead. This is 2,000 gold in their advantage. They are on Dragon Soul Point. ZOOS Gaming, they are starting to let this early game slip away from them. They need to keep putting pressure onto Cloud9 Academy and make sure that they don't skill too hard.
Gangus, it's 21 minutes. There's no more early game. There's no more laning phase. It's over. We're looking at the mid game right now.
All right, game 2. Yep. What's gonna happen?
No.
We've seen Cloud9 with too many late games, Coco.
We're in team fight territory right now, and this is a prime time for ZOOS Gaming to try and make some pressure. They've got a stronger 1-3-1 because of how fast Darkwings can push on this Victor in a side lane. Though we're starting to see an inkling of concern pop up in their minds as Darshan is starting to trade against Alarm fairly well on this gangplank. So they're gonna have to force a 4v1 situation.
That Divine Sunderer really hurts despite the tanky stats that Alorum has right now. So I like the build from Darshan coming out here. And also Cloud9's willingness to keep looking for these plays. That's twice now Isles has tried to go for the Hex Flash from that brush. So they're also interested in taking down this mid turret right here. Really the big rock right now for ZOOS Gaming to play around, because they've already taken down Cloud9's mid turret. But if they can hold on to this gives them a lot of control of the map here.
Try again on those Hex Flashes. You might be able to find one eventually. As Raheen, he does have that Zeal in his pocket, so it looks like he will be going more of that 80 focus. Let's see if he cashes in on a Phantom Dancer. Yeah, there he goes. All right, get some tank share, get some peel for yourself. Now we're looking at a team fight. You're kind of caught up to King, but you're a full Last Whisper behind. So there's some tank shred coming in from Cloud9 Academy's department that is sort of giving that strong argument for ZOOS Gaming to say, you know what? We can't really team fight just yet. Our ADCs are not matched up against one another. So you have to find a pick, right? And you've got a lot of tools for ZOOS Gaming to do that. You got the Thresh and the Varus, of course, and you still have RBM with the Skarner, which you look at the items, sure, you've got a Last Whisper ahead, but you haven't paid your taxes yet.
True, they do still need to get that QSS to deal with the Skarner, so that's going to be big for ZOOS Gaming, but you're saying we might not see a team fight. I think we're going to see one, because Dragon's up in 30 seconds, and all members of Cloud9 Academy have grouped up around here. Alorum pushing the top wave, but does have teleport, so I'm expecting him to join in, but now the engage is straight in onto Darkwings. He has to flash away. Gravity Field goes down, Fire trying to chase him down. Isn't enough. The burn from Isles' Ignite will get the kill. A crucial pick for Cloud9 Academy right at the perfect moment. Darshan just runs right past RBM. Says, what are you going to do? Grab me? I still have my orange available, so they push back ZOOS Gaming. And now with Dragon up in 2 seconds, this should be claimed by Cloud9 Academy.
Oh, and that is going to be a Mountain Soul for Cloud9, and ZOOS Gaming has no way to try and challenge this. There's not even a Jinx Rocket on their team. That's in King's back pocket. With that, they have to find what they can, take away any jungle camps that are still on Cloud9 Academy's side that they're able to hit and sort of grab before the resets come in. Unfortunately for them, Alorum cannot push fast enough on this Cho'Gath, so they're going to have to retreat fairly shortly before they get caught out once again.
Oh no, speaking of getting caught out. Okay, wait, there's a Dark Passage. All right, RBM does get out safely there. But man, Darkwing's getting caught out in that position. Critical error, and not something that we are really typically expect to see from Darkwings as a player. We're hyping it up going into this series as one of the key standouts from ZOOS Gaming, somebody that these Academy teams should be keeping their eye on, thinking, okay, if you're looking for a mid laner for Academy, Darkwings has had an incredible split so far. And keep in mind that was the first death, but rough one for sure. Can ZOOS Gaming come back from this position? Now they're down to Dragon Soul. We actually get a look here. Yeah, it was the ward that was in the tri-bush that spotted him.
Yeah, ward, and then the sweeper sort of kept pacing for Isles to find the proper engagement. And with that, this one death, you know, one of the things that we have to talk about, the difference between a lot of these teams, is how much they can take off of very small motions, off of a single death, off of a single reset for timing. It's things like that that really separates a lot of these teams, and this is where you're seeing it right now. Cloud9 Academy knows how to take a foot and then make it a mile.
And also, just one small thing, Darkwing's path away from Rhinos. Unfortunately, I think maybe if he had walked towards the Thresh, he could have Dark Passaged out. But that's all in the past. Let's look to the future now, Coco, because there is still a chance. You still have a lot of pick potential, and it's only a 2,000 gold differential. Now, yes, those Dragon stats are making that much larger than you're just seeing on your screen, but they still have possibilities to grab members like King, like Compy, if they're out of position, who still have not paid that QSS tax. But it's not looking likely here because Cloud9 Academy, they're just grouping up, and they might just take this Baron brute force.
Yep. King does have his cleanse available for this Baron contention, and he also does have that Lord Dominic's regard. So he's got a lot of tank strat if RBM and Alorum are looking at him. And even with that Gargoyle Stone Plate on the Cho'Gath, it's going to be pretty difficult to survive for longer than a few seconds against this Jinx, who is really trying to force her hand onto the backline of ZOOS Gaming. Raheen keeping his spacing proper, but Rhino might be caught out from a cleaver. We gotta look out for this Alorum flank as well on this Cho'Gath, because Copy is not here.
Copy has teleport, so could join in, but that is a channel time. So ZOOS Gaming Alorum just walks in, face checks that push. They're trying to take down the Vision, so they can actually look to contest the Baron if Cloud9 Academy start it.
Copy's still pushing that top side, and Orianna can push fairly well on a side lane with how her passive can continually scale damage onto turrets. So she can take care of this turret pretty quickly. And ZOOS Gaming, they're going to have to force their hand, and it might put them into a place where they make a mistake.
Yeah, ZOOS Gaming now backing off. Copy teleporting to join the team. RBM's here, but yeah, cannot stop that channel. They will save the turret, but that thing's looking mighty low this time around. And yet again, Cloud9 Academy, they can just clear out all the wards that ZOOS just dropped down around the Baron, keep shoving in these waves, and keep their Vision priority, making the entire jungle dark for ZOOS Gaming. It's so dangerous to approach. If you're the pick composition, you want to be the team controlling the Vision, not the other way around.
And I just love how Cloud9 has been playing this composition as well. Because one of the biggest concerns that I had going into this game was that they have only one true way to start a fight. And that is with Isles as well, right? But a lot of these fights have actually been started off of Surenfire chasing someone down and the rest of the team routing through the flanks and finding pinches. And this goes for both ZOOS and Cloud9 respectively, of these flanks. And then the fight happens where everyone just sort of runs into each other like a big
Is this a solo kill?
crash.
This is almost a solo kill. Not quite.
This
It's not a fair fight. Surenfire's here. Alorum has to flash here. Oh, doesn't get over the wall. Unfortunately. Maybe they can trade back here on to Darshan. He's dragged under the turret. Can he tank up enough shots here?
beefy.
RBM now in trouble. Has to flash away. Cloud9 Academy get a free kill onto Alorum, who just cannot handle the damage. And King, meanwhile, takes down Rhino. Oh no, Coco. This is looking like a done game. Cloud9 Academy, they've made it through their weakest stage, which is the laning phase, if you can even call it that right now. And now they're just running down ZOOS again! King just does too much damage from too far away.
And just like I was talking about literally seconds ago, Cloud9 Academy doesn't need to team fight if they can just run you down. Doesn't matter if it's Surenfire, doesn't matter if it's King. They've got the tools to chase you and stick on to you. And that's where ZOOS Gaming is running into that issue of never being able to fully team fight, because they're always in these odd spaces where Cloud9 Academy can punish a single member at a time, and then a team fight never looks appetizing. You're looking at this Baron, RBM says, nah, I don't have the appetite for that. I can't take this one. It has to go over to Cloud9 Academy. And right now, this gold lead that was just a few thousand has now started to encroach on almost a 10k gold differential. Cloud9 Academy really trying to push this one home in the game one of the series.
That's the thing about Cloud9 Academy. When they get a pick, when they find a big play, they turn it into way more than just that. They got 2 kills, 3 kills, I guess, throughout the entire play, and 2 turrets and the Baron. They know how to capitalize on the fact that they got these picks, and they don't let that go to waste. They always keep pushing that envelope. So they even spend all that gold. Now this is almost a full build Jinx. Here's the fight. Surenfire frontline. He's just running at him. They don't need Isles at this point. They got a man with a briefcase on a mission to engage onto ZOOS Gaming. This Elder Dragon's coming up in 5 seconds. If ZOOS Gaming don't win this team fight, they will lose the game. I'm calling it right now. This is all that they got left. Darshan has ultimate. Darshan has TP.
Oh, Rhino's dead.
Not looking good. Rhinos has to back away. Teleport coming in from Darkwings. Maybe this is the engage that ZOOS needed, but they're engaging onto Isles. Surenfire's in the way too. They finally got on the King, but he paid his taxes. There we go. He's still alive. He's still healthy. Now Raheen's going down, and it's just that easy. Cloud9 Academy can easily clean up this fight. Jinx gets excited. The passive is rolling right now, and ZOOS Gaming get clean wiped from the map. Cloud9 Academy, they don't even need that Elder Dragon. They can just run it down and win the game.
Small victories become a dominant performance from Cloud9 Academy in this first game of the series, and it was one of the best performances that I've seen out of Cloud9 so far. Something where their laning phase was on point, they found the caches, Surenfire was able to have that forward pressure that he always hunts for in every game, and with this Mundo leading the charge, Cloud9 Academy is making a dominant statement in this series, taking on ZOOS.
What a performance from Cloud9 Academy. The early game went well. From that level 1 crazy invade all the way here to the end. Every objective taken, save some Rift Heralds. Cloud9 Academy, well done. What a statement game against ZOOS Gaming, who again, King Slayers in Amateur. We expect that they can take a game off of any Academy team, but if Cloud9 Academy can repeat that performance in Game 2, we might see them sweep their way through this whole tournament because they are looking strong.
Yeah, especially with the amazing performance that came out of King in those final moments of the game. Really putting some irony to my coining of the term of ZOOS Gaming being King Slayers when they weren't even able to get a kill onto King on that Jinx. So well done from him and from the rest of the team from Academy. But now we have a little bit of a break as we go into the second game of the series for ZOOS Gaming to recuperate and figure out what they need to do to at least cut the hamstrings off of Cloud9 Academy's steamroll right now, because it is a best of 3 series and ZOOS Gaming has actual potential to really learn from this game, because one of the biggest handicaps going into the series was that they didn't have a lot of resources to research against Cloud9 Academy, and it feels like that anonymity from Cloud9 Academy really helped them out here, not to mention that every single one of their players really showed up today.
Yeah, it's tough to prepare against a team that hasn't played a lot of stage games since like 3 patches ago, 11.3.
Yeah, like 11.3
is when most of that was done. So they got to watch 2 of their games from last week, but now they got to play against Cloud9 Academy. So let's see what ZOOS Gaming brings back for game number 2, or if Cloud9 Academy can make this a quick one. We're going to send it over to a short break before we get our answers, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.